The stars shone quietly in the cold, empty space above Earth. Satellites drifted silently, and humans thought the universe was calm. But the calm was only an illusion. Suddenly, massive shapes appeared on the horizon. Alien fleets, hundreds of enormous ships, moved toward human colonies. Their hulls glinted with cold metal and strange, dark energy pulsed from their engines. They were huge. They were terrifying. And they were coming. People on Earth panicked. In every city, alarms rang, sirens screamed, and people ran into the streets. Families hugged each other, staring at the sky as streaks of light revealed the alien ships. Governments scrambled to respond. Military commanders barked orders, but no plan seemed to work. The weapons humans had spent decades building felt useless in the face of these giants. On the main military command station orbiting Earth, officers looked at screens filled with blinking dots, alien ships closing in. "Status report," shouted General Hawk. His voice was tense, edged with fear. Officers hurried to their stations, typing commands, but their confidence was shaking. Every strike they prepared seemed small against the massive fleet advancing. Then a voice boomed over all communications, chilling and mocking. "Humans," it said deep and cold. "You think you are strong. You think you can fight. How amusing. Your resistance is meaningless." The voice belonged to Admiral Zyler, the leader of the alien fleet. He spoke slowly, each word like a knife cutting through human courage. He watched the humans panic from his bridge millions of kilometers away, and he laughed silently. Meanwhile, far below in Earth's orbit, Captain Eric Vale stood in the command center of the flagship Aurora. He was young, barely 30, but his mind was sharp. Unlike most, Eric did not panic. He studied the screens carefully. He watched the movement of the alien ships, their formations, and the strange energy readings that pulsed around them. "Commander Vale, the fleet is preparing to fire," an officer shouted, pointing to a massive alien cruiser charging its weapons. Eric's eyes narrowed. "Wait, not yet. Look at the energy patterns," he said calmly. He pointed to a glowing line of data on the screen. "There's something unusual. It's not just brute force. Something about their energy signature. It's different from anything we've seen." His team leaned closer, eyes wide. The alien ships were powerful, but this reading suggested a flaw. Or maybe a secret. Eric's heart raced with a mixture of fear and excitement. If he could figure it out, humans might stand a chance. But time was short. The alien fleet moved like predators, each ship closing in with terrifying speed. The humans watching from the command stations knew that the first strike could destroy entire cities. Eric clenched his fists. He was not a soldier trained for battle on the front lines. He was a tactician, someone who thought faster than the enemy. And right now, thinking fast was all that could save humanity. On Earth, people still looked up in terror. Children clung to their parents. Soldiers prepared for the worst. And in the shadows of human fear, the first alien weapons glimmered, ready to strike. Eric stood alone on the observation deck for a moment, staring at the black silhouettes of the approaching ships. "We are outmatched," he whispered to himself. "But maybe not outsmarted." He turned to his team. "We need to understand their energy flow. If we can find a weak point, any weak point, we might stop them before they reach Earth." The officers nodded, though doubt shadowed their faces. Most people would not have believed that humans could challenge this alien fleet. Most thought Earth was doomed. But Eric refused to accept doom. A loud alarm rang suddenly. A massive cruiser had moved closer to Earth, and the energy readings spiked. The humans realized that the alien fleet's attack was about to begin. Panic spread across every control room, every station, every city. But Eric stayed calm. He studied the data, his mind working faster than fear could take hold. "Look at the formation," he said, pointing to the alien fleet on the screen. "They're confident. They think we are weak. That's why they move like this. But every pattern has a flaw. Every formation has a weakness. I see it." The humans around him looked skeptical. Could a single captain really see a weakness in such overwhelming power? Could humans survive this? Far away, Admiral Zyler laughed again. "Pathetic creatures," he muttered. "They think they can resist. They think they can survive. Soon they will learn the truth. The galaxy will watch them burn." But Eric did not flinch. He continued studying the data. He did not yet know if the weakness he saw was real. He did not know if humans could survive the first strike. But for the first time since the alien fleet appeared, there was a spark of hope. A tiny spark, yes, but enough to fight back. And in the silence before war erupted, one thing became clear. This was no ordinary battle. Humans were about to be tested like never before. The galaxy had ignored them for too long. And now, it was about to learn that humans were far more dangerous than anyone had imagined. The sky over Earth was alive with fear. Every screen in the military command centers blinked warnings, alarms rang endlessly, and citizens watched in terror as the alien fleet drew closer. The massive ships glided silently, yet their presence made Earth tremble. No one had seen anything like it before. Humans had trained for space threats, for distant skirmishes in isolated sectors, but nothing had prepared them for this. On the command deck of the orbital flagship Aurora, Captain Eric Vale paced slowly. His mind raced with calculations, possibilities, and risks. The alien fleet was larger than anyone had imagined, far more advanced than any human technology. Yet, Eric had seen something in Part 1, a faint irregularity in the alien ship's energy signature. Something small but possibly exploitable. "Captain Vale," Lieutenant Mara called out, her voice tense. "They're locking weapons on the cities. They're preparing to fire." Eric leaned forward, studying the holographic map of the fleet. Red beams traced paths from alien cruisers toward the major human colonies. "Not yet," he whispered. "We wait. Watch the patterns carefully." The crew exchanged nervous glances. Waiting felt impossible. Every second brought the cities closer to devastation. Yet, Eric knew that acting too soon could waste their last chance. Timing was everything. Far above, in the alien flagship, Admiral Zyler watched Earth with a cruel smile. He had studied humans for months, laughed at their struggles, and assumed this battle would be trivial. The humans were weak, he believed, unable to think beyond panic and fear. "They hesitate," Zyler muttered to his officers. "Their fear is strong, but they have no plan. Soon, everything they hold dear will burn. Prepare the first strike." Back on Aurora, Eric's team continued to monitor the fleet. "There," he suddenly shouted. "Look at the energy flux in their left wing. The cruiser closest to Earth, it's overloading. That pulse repeats every 12 seconds. If we time it right." Lieutenant Mara's eyes widened. "You think we can strike that exact moment?" Eric nodded. "We have to. It's our only chance. If we act now, we can disrupt their formation long enough to save some cities." Orders were given. A small strike team prepared human fighters for a daring attack. Each pilot knew the risk. The alien ships were far stronger, far faster. Yet courage filled them. Humanity had survived because of its courage, and now that courage was about to be tested. The first alien energy blast lit the horizon, striking a city on the coast. Explosions tore through the skyline. Dust and fire rose into the air as people ran in every direction. The humans on Earth screamed, but from orbit, Eric's eyes were focused. He had predicted this strike. He had calculated the timing down to the millisecond. "Now," he commanded. Human fighters launched, weaving between the alien cruiser's fire. Missiles raced toward the overloaded cruiser, following Eric's precise instructions. The alien ship pulsed with energy, its weapons charging again, but the human strike hit the critical moment. A chain reaction began inside the cruiser. Sparks flew, engines faltered, and a massive explosion ripped the ship apart. The alien formation faltered. For the first time, humans had forced a change in the enemy's pattern. Panic rippled through the alien fleet as Zyler's officers shouted warnings. "What? How?" Zyler hissed. "They could not. This is impossible." Eric's heart pounded, but he did not smile. The first strike had worked, but it had come at a cost. Human ships were lost. Human fighters had fallen. Cities had been damaged. The war had begun in earnest, and the cost of survival was heavy. "Captain Vale," Mara said, her voice trembling, "we've disrupted the formation, but more ships are closing in. They'll be back." Eric turned to her, his face calm but eyes sharp. "Yes, they'll return. And they'll be angrier. But we've shown them something. They're not facing weak humans. They underestimated us, and that is their first mistake." Meanwhile, on Earth, civilians watched the alien ships pause mid-attack. For a moment, hope flickered. Humanity had survived the first strike, and for the first time, people realized that these massive, cold aliens were not invincible. But even as relief spread, Eric knew the truth. This was only the beginning. The aliens were powerful, relentless, and intelligent. Their full strength had not yet been revealed. Every victory was fragile. Every life lost was a reminder of the stakes. Eric returned to his observation deck. The stars above were filled with alien ships, dark and silent, moving like predators circling their prey. Yet, somewhere in their patterns, Eric saw opportunities, tiny weaknesses he could exploit. Humans were still underestimated. Humans were still ignored. And that was exactly why humanity still had a chance. He whispered to himself, We survive. We fight. And one day the galaxy will regret ignoring us. The command deck fell silent for a moment, except for the hum of human machinery and the distant rumble of explosions on Earth. The first strike had ended, but the war was far from over. Humans had won a small victory, but they were about to learn that the next wave would be worse, deadlier, and more terrifying. Somewhere in the black void of space, Admiral Zyler's anger grew. He did not yet understand the humans. He had not faced their ingenuity, their courage, or their determination. And in his arrogance, he prepared for the next strike, certain it would destroy all resistance. But Captain Eric Vale had other plans. He had seen the first weakness and now he would hunt for more. Humanity would not give up. Humanity would not be destroyed. And the galaxy, once blind to human potential, would soon see just how dangerous humans could be. The war had begun. Earth was still reeling from the first alien strike. Cities were damaged, military stations were in chaos, and people whispered of humanity's possible end. Yet, aboard the Aurora, Captain Eric Vale and his team were far from defeated. The first strike had revealed something crucial. The alien fleet was not invincible. There were patterns. There were weaknesses. And now Eric had noticed something even stranger. A faint signal had appeared in the readings of their deep space sensors. At first, the crew assumed it was a glitch, a leftover echo of the aliens' energy pulses. But Eric had a gut feeling. He stared at the flickering data on the main console. This is not alien, he said quietly. Lieutenant Mara leaned over his shoulder. You think it's human? Eric nodded slowly. Yes, but that's impossible. These coordinates are from the outer sectors, places humans abandoned centuries ago. If this is human, then it shouldn't exist. The signal was repeating like a beacon coded with a strange pattern. It pulsed with energy similar to human military codes long forgotten. Yet it was different, older, more advanced. Eric's mind raced. Could this be ancient human technology? A fleet or weapon lost in time waiting to be discovered? Prepare a probe, he ordered. We need to trace the source. The officers obeyed, launching a small unmanned ship to follow the signal into the depths of space. The probe transmitted images and energy readings back to the Aurora. The crew watched anxiously as the data unfolded. The probe drifted through abandoned star systems, past planets that had not seen human life in generations. And then it arrived. Floating silently in the void was a massive structure. Part ship, part station, unlike anything humans had built in recent centuries. Its surfaces glowed with a faint blue light. Energy patterns hummed along its hull. The signal emanated from this ancient relic. Eric felt a shiver run down his spine. It's beautiful, he whispered. And dangerous. We don't know what's inside or what it can do. But this is humanity's lost power. We may finally have an edge. Lieutenant Mara's eyes were wide. Are we sure it's safe? No, Eric said, but we don't have a choice. If the aliens find it first, we're finished. We must understand it, and use it. Meanwhile, the alien fleet continued to hover over human colonies, their weapons ready, their arrogance unshaken. Admiral Zyler still assumed humans were weak, disorganized, and doomed. He did not know that one small human crew had discovered a relic from an age long past, technology that could change the tide of war. Back on the Aurora, Eric assembled his top engineers. This structure is sending the energy signal in a coded pattern, he explained. It's like a language but not one we've ever seen. We must decode it, understand it, and, if possible, reactivate whatever is inside. Days passed. The crew worked tirelessly, deciphering patterns, analyzing energy flows, and testing small simulations. Each discovery brought a thrill. Every small breakthrough was a step closer to understanding humanity's forgotten power. And yet, danger never left. The aliens monitored the planet, scanning for signs of resistance. Every human move was under threat. If they moved too aggressively toward the relic, the fleet could strike before they completed their mission. One evening, Eric stood alone on the observation deck, staring at the distant signal pulsing in the void. So much time has passed, he murmured. Humans built this, centuries ago. And now it's awake again. Maybe, it's waiting for us. Suddenly the signal changed. It pulsed faster, stronger. The probe sent an alert. A wave of energy surged from the relic toward the human fleet. Eric's heart raced. Was this a trap or a warning? Captain? Lieutenant Mara shouted. The energy, it's responding to our systems. Look at the readings. The consoles lit up with data, patterns intertwining with human commands. Somehow, the relic was reacting to their presence. It was alive. not like a human or alien but a machine with a purpose. And its purpose seemed aligned with humanity. Eric realized the magnitude of what they had found. "This is it," he said, voice trembling slightly. "This is the key. If we can harness this, we may not just survive. We may turn the war around entirely." Yet even as hope surged, the tension grew. Every human knew that the aliens were out there, waiting, watching, ready to strike again. And if they discovered the relic before humans understood it, everything would be lost. "Prepare for battle readiness," Eric ordered. "We may not have to fight now, but the aliens won't wait forever. And when they come again, we must be ready." The crew worked into the night, deciphering the energy signals, cautiously exploring the ancient relic. The hum of alien ships in the distance was a constant reminder of the stakes. The galaxy had ignored humans for centuries, assuming they were weak and primitive. But Eric now held the proof that humanity's true strength had been waiting all along. Hidden, forgotten, and underestimated. And somewhere deep in the stars, the signal pulsed like a heartbeat, ancient yet alive. It was humanity's secret weapon, whispering across space. The humans were not done yet. The first strike had been survived. The relic had been found. But the war was far from over. The aliens would return, stronger and angrier. And the humans, armed with knowledge from the past, were about to show the galaxy that they were far more dangerous than anyone had imagined. The stage was set for the next battle, the next revelation, and the moment when humanity's hidden power would begin to change the course of the war. The alien fleet loomed over Earth like dark shadows in the sky. Cities were still recovering from the first strike. The air was thick with fear, yet somewhere in the chaos, hope flickered. On board the Aurora, Captain Eric Vale and his team had found something that could change everything: the ancient human relic. Its energy signals pulsed faintly, mysterious and powerful. And now it was time to use it. Eric studied the holographic map of the battlefield. The aliens were confident, their formation perfect, their weapons ready. But humans had something the aliens did not expect: strategy, courage, and knowledge from a past humanity had almost forgotten. "Captain," Lieutenant Mara said, her voice urgent, "our fighters are ready. The relic is responding to our commands. We can target the alien cruiser near the planetary defense station." Eric nodded. "Good. But we must be precise. One mistake and everything we've gained will be lost. This is our chance to hit back, not just defend but surprise them." The plan was risky. Human fighters would approach the alien ship, using the relic's energy patterns as a guide. Small pulses of ancient technology would shield them temporarily from the alien sensors. The idea was daring, almost impossible, but humans had never been known for taking easy paths. "Lock coordinates," Eric commanded. "Remember, timing is everything. Follow the energy pulse from the relic. We hit when the cruiser's left wing is exposed." The fighters launched into space, streaking past the glowing surface of Earth. The alien fleet watched, unprepared for this sudden counterattack. For the first time, humans were not just running, they were moving with purpose. "Target locked," the lead pilot called. "Ready to fire." Eric's eyes never left the screens. "Wait for the pulse, now." The human missiles fired in perfect synchronization with the energy signals from the relic. They struck the alien cruiser's weak point almost simultaneously. Sparks flew across the hull. Energy shields faltered. The ship shuddered violently before a massive explosion ripped through its center. The alien formation wavered. Officers aboard other ships shouted orders, confused and angry. They had not expected humans to strike with such precision. Panic spread through their fleet. For the first time, humans had forced the aliens to react. "Excellent work," Eric said, but his voice was steady, not celebratory. "This is only the beginning. The aliens will strike back. Prepare for their response." Back on Earth, people watched the alien cruiser's destruction on live feeds. Cheering broke out across cities. Humanity had shown that it could fight back. Fear was still there, but it was now mixed with a spark of hope. However, the battle was far from over. The alien fleet quickly adjusted. Energy beams fired toward the human fighters, striking with deadly accuracy. Several fighters were hit and destroyed. Human losses mounted, and the cost of rebellion became painfully clear. "Captain," Mara shouted. "They're targeting the relic's energy. If they destroy it, we lose our advantage." Eric clenched his fists. "No. We protect it at all costs. Divert the defensive drones to shield the relic. Keep the fighters moving. We survive, we fight, we strike again." The Aurora maneuvered swiftly, dodging beams of alien energy. Human ingenuity turned the tide momentarily. Fighters weaved through the attacks, and drones formed a protective barrier around the relic. The aliens had power, but humans had speed, wit, and adaptability. Amid the chaos, Eric noticed something unusual. The alien fleet's weapons were following predictable patterns. "They're arrogant," he muttered. "They think humans will panic that we cannot plan. But they repeat the same mistakes. Watch closely, they will make another error." Sure enough, a massive alien cruiser overextended its attack, leaving its flank exposed. Eric immediately seized the opportunity. "Fighters, target the exposed wing. All missiles, fire on my mark." The human missiles streaked through space, striking the alien ship precisely. Another explosion lit the darkness. One ship down. Two more in disarray. The alien fleet staggered. For the first time, humans had truly shown they could fight on equal terms. Admiral Zyler's bridge was chaos. Officers screamed, weapons officers were in shock, and Zyler's own anger boiled. "Impossible," he growled. "They cannot. How can they fight back like this? Alert the fleet. Destroy them all." Yet the humans were not done. The relic's energy pulsed stronger now, almost as if it was alive, guiding their strikes. Eric realized the potential. This technology could turn the entire war. It could make humans more than survivors, it could make them victors. On the observation deck, Eric looked at the distant alien ships. "They think they can destroy us," he said quietly. "They don't know humans are never so simple. They don't know our true strength." The first counterattack had succeeded. Human fighters returned, battered but victorious. The relic had survived. The aliens had learned something new. Humans were not just clever, they were dangerous. But Eric knew better than to celebrate. The aliens were angry, stronger, and ready to strike back harder. Humanity had only just begun to fight. Every victory came at a cost. Every battle tested their courage and resolve. And in the darkness of space, one thought burned in Eric's mind. The galaxy had ignored humans for too long. But now the humans had awakened. And the real war, the war that would decide the fate of Earth and the galaxy, was only just beginning. The galaxy watched, silent and indifferent, as the humans fought back. Earth's surface was scarred, cities still smoldered from the first attacks, but humanity had survived. More importantly, humans had fought back, and for the first time the aliens realized that their arrogance had been misplaced. Aboard the Aurora, Captain Eric Vale paced the command deck. His eyes scanned the holographic map of the alien fleet, noting every movement, every pulse of energy. The relic had strengthened their strategy. It hummed with power, sending faint signals that amplified their weapons and shields. Humans were learning, adapting, and the alien fleet had begun to make mistakes. "We need more than small strikes," Eric said. "We need a coordinated attack. Every fleet, every ship, every fighter must move at the same time. This is our chance to turn the tide." Lieutenant Mara nodded. "It's risky. If we fail, Earth will be lost." Eric's jaw tightened. "We can't fail. Humanity has one chance to show the galaxy that we are not weak. Every city, every life depends on it." Across Earth, the remaining human fleets prepared. Pilots checked their ships, engineers fine-tuned weapons, and communication officers coordinated every signal. The plan was complex, requiring precise timing and trust. Every human knew that failure would mean total destruction, but courage ran through them like fire. They had survived the first strikes, and they would survive this too. The alien fleet remained in orbit, confident as ever. Admiral Zyler still believed humans could not organize effectively. "Pathetic," he said. "They think they can fight. They have no hope. Destroy them." But arrogance blinded Zyler to what humans had discovered. The relic's energy now flowed into the human fleet. Weapons were sharper, shields stronger, and guidance systems more accurate. Humans had found their advantage, one the aliens could not predict. "Captain," Mara reported, "the fleet is in position. All coordinates locked. We wait for your order." Eric studied the alien formation carefully. He noticed patterns in their attacks and defenses, repeated mistakes, and openings that only humans with insight and courage could exploit. "Wait for the pulse from the relic," he said. "On my mark, strike together." One moment, perfectly synchronized. The seconds dragged. Pilots gripped controls. Engineers monitored shields. Every human knew the moment would decide the fate of their planet. "Mark!" Eric shouted. Energy surged from the relic. Missiles, fighters, and human warships moved as one. Their attacks struck at the precise moments when the alien cruiser's shields faltered. Explosions rocked the void of space. One cruiser fell, then another. The alien formation wavered, disoriented by the unexpected precision and coordination. Admiral Zyler watched in disbelief. Impossible, he roared. How can they fight like this? They should not have survived the first strike. On the Aurora, Eric monitored the battle, heart pounding. Focus on the weak points, he commanded. Do not waste a single shot. Keep moving. Protect the relic. Despite their success, the humans suffered losses. Ships were destroyed, pilots lost, and the remnants of cities below bore the scars of the ongoing war. Yet each loss strengthened their resolve. They were not defeated. They would not be defeated. Amid the chaos, Eric noticed a moment of opportunity. The alien flagship had overextended its position, leaving a flank unguarded. There, he shouted. Fighters, flank the flagship now. Every missile, every gun, fire. The human fleet moved with precision, striking the alien flagship directly. Energy shields faltered, engines sputtered, and a massive explosion rocked the vessel. The alien fleet faltered again, confusion spreading like wildfire. Back on Earth, citizens watched live feeds of the space battle. Cheering erupted across the globe. Humanity had survived again. Humanity had struck back, and for the first time the galaxy began to see humans not as weak, primitive beings, but as a force capable of defying expectation. Yet, Eric did not allow celebration. He knew the aliens were still a threat. Zyler was angry, clever, and ruthless. The battle had turned, yes, but the war was far from over. Every victory was fragile, every life precious. Humans had the spark, but the fire would still be tested. Captain, Mara said, the fleet is holding, but the aliens are regrouping. They'll attack harder next time. Eric nodded. I know. But now they know something important. They underestimated us. And that will be their greatest mistake. In the vast silence of space, the relic pulsed again, guiding humans, amplifying their weapons and giving them hope. It had waited centuries for this moment. And now, it was alive in the hands of humans determined to survive. Admiral Zyler, meanwhile, stared at his screens in disbelief. Humans, dangerous, he muttered. I did not believe it. But now, they are proving it. And I cannot allow it. Eric stood on the observation deck, gazing at the distant alien ships. They thought they could destroy us. They thought we were weak. But humans survive. Humans adapt. And humans fight back. The galaxy will remember that. The tide had begun to turn. Humans were no longer just defending, they were asserting themselves. And somewhere deep in the shadows of space, a new chapter of humanity's power was awakening. The relic had guided them this far, but it was only the beginning. The next battle would be larger, deadlier, and more decisive. The aliens had underestimated humanity. And humans, armed with courage, ingenuity, and the secrets of the past, were ready to make the galaxy pay for ignoring them. The war had changed. The galaxy had begun to see humans in a new light. And Earth, battered but unbroken, stood ready to fight again. The alien fleet hovered in orbit, tense and restless. Earth had survived the first strikes, survived the human counterattacks, and now the humans were coordinating a massive assault that even Admiral Zyler had not anticipated. His arrogance had blinded him to one truth: humans were not weak. Humans were dangerous. On board the Aurora, Captain Eric Vale stood at the command deck, eyes scanning the holographic battlefield. Every ship, every fighter, every weapon was in place. The relic hummed, its energy pulsing through human systems, strengthening shields, guiding weapons, and providing insights the aliens could not understand. We have one shot, Eric said, voice steady. One coordinated strike. We hit their main fleet, their command ships, and we hit hard. The galaxy will see humans today. Lieutenant Mara nodded. They've underestimated us at every turn. But now we have the advantage. They won't see this coming. The human fleet launched like a river of fire and light. Fighters streaked across space, missiles fired, and energy shields shimmered around capital ships. The aliens were caught off guard. For the first time, their perfect formations faltered. Explosions erupted across the fleet. Ships fell, engines tore apart, and alarms screamed in the void. Admiral Zyler's bridge was chaos. Officers shouted in panic. How is this possible? He roared. They should not have survived the first strike. They cannot fight like this. But the humans were fighting like no one expected. Each missile, each strike, each maneuver was guided by the relic, combined with Eric's tactical genius. The alien fleet tried to respond, but every move was anticipated, every pattern countered. On Earth, people watched in awe. Their children, parents, and soldiers alike saw the impossible unfold. Humans, once seen as weak and primitive, were dominating the battle in ways no one thought possible. Cheering erupted across cities, mixed with the tension of fear. Every person knew the aliens were still dangerous, but hope now burned brighter than ever. Amid the chaos, Eric noticed the alien flagship exposed. Its shields were faltering from repeated hits. "This is it," he said. "All ships converge on the flagship. Every weapon, every missile. Fire at my command." Human fleets obeyed perfectly. The relic pulsed one final time, amplifying every strike. The alien flagship shuddered, sparks flew from its hull, and a massive explosion tore through its core. The remaining alien ships hesitated, confused, and for the first time the humans gained the upper hand. Admiral Zyler's eyes widened in disbelief. "No, this cannot be. Humans, dangerous, they were never meant to." But it was too late. Humanity had shown the galaxy that they were more than survivors. They were thinkers, strategists, and fighters, capable of using ingenuity to defeat raw power. The alien fleet faltered, then began to retreat, abandoning their plans of conquest. Eric turned to his crew. "This is just the beginning," he said calmly. "We've won this battle, but the war is far from over. Humanity has shown its strength, but we must remain vigilant. The galaxy may not forgive us for surviving." Lieutenant Mara smiled. "Captain, we did it. Earth, humanity, we survived." Eric looked out into the stars, the alien ships retreating into the darkness. "Not just survived," he corrected. "We fought. And we have changed the way the galaxy sees us forever." On Earth, celebrations erupted. Humanity had endured, had fought back, and had won against impossible odds. Cities lit up with joy, people cheered, and hope returned to hearts that had almost given up. Humans were no longer seen as weak. They were respected, feared, and above all, alive. But even in the midst of victory, Eric knew there would be consequences. The galaxy had witnessed the humans' power. Other civilizations would watch, and some would come with fear, others with hostility. Humanity had survived, but their actions had set the stage for future challenges. He walked to the observation deck, staring at the stars, the relic glowing faintly beside him. "We have awakened something," he whispered. "Something the galaxy never expected. Humans are no longer the species to ignore." The relic pulsed, almost in response, as if acknowledging the statement. Centuries old, it had waited for this moment. Now it had fulfilled its purpose, to guide humanity to the point where they could show their true potential. Admiral Zyler, aboard his damaged flagship, watched the humans' retreating forces. He could not hide his fear. They are dangerous," he admitted aloud. "We underestimated them. The galaxy will never underestimate humans again." Back on the Aurora, Eric gathered his officers. "We celebrate this victory," he said. "But we prepare for what comes next. Humanity has awoken and the galaxy is watching. We must be ready. Because now, we are no longer just a planet to ignore. We are a force to be reckoned with." The stars shimmered silently, distant yet alive, as humans rebuilt, repaired, and planned for the future. Earth had survived, the alien threat had been pushed back, and the galaxy had learned a lesson it would never forget. Humans were dangerous. Humans were clever. And humans would fight back no matter the odds. And somewhere deep in the cosmos, the relic pulsed one last time, its ancient energy spreading like a heartbeat across the void. Humanity had awakened. The galaxy had been warned. The war had ended, for now, but the legend of humans had begun. The galaxy would never forget the day they ignored Earth, until it was too late.